Big half squeeze.
Oh, Elliott.
What's up, legend? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling real cool.
Heard you got your business hat on this shit, man.
Yeah.
You popping out on these
I'm popping out, man. You know, I got to show them that I'm more than just a rapper and a producer, you know. So, you know, definitely popping out. 2020 food. So good. I'm out to get to Mississippi.
Oh, yeah. What are some of these ventures that you're
Oh, man, you know, some of the ventures that I'm doing is like, you know, start my label up and, you know what I'm saying, really trying to hone in on up and coming artists. Really, you know, to things of that nature instead of just thinking about myself and trying to put out having projects, you know, Mobb Deep projects. But of course, that's
Yeah.
you know, that's
Wanna
the
talk
focus
about that.
all the time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But things of that nature.
and think this artist they hit your radar? Or are you seeking out talent? Like how you approach it?
I do both. You know what I'm saying? Seeking out talent, and a lot of artists be hitting me. They be hitting me for tracks all the time, and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm like, you know what? Let's start putting out to this project because you know nowadays it's like it's the land of, you know, produced projects. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you'll have a Primo and Nas project and things of that.
Keep rocking comment, just
That,
something.
and that was amazing.
Yeah. You enjoy that?
Yeah, I really did. I really did like that.
And I know, you know, your fellow colleague, Alchemist, he's shown what you could do, like selling, you know, whatever level. Do these records on your own, produce
Absolutely.
them out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, when I think about Al and what he's done, where he came from, you know what I'm saying? Like, he kind of like, he didn't start with us, but of course he was with Muggs and all of that. And then he came
Hooligans and all that.
Yeah, the hooligans. And, you know, he came on board with Mobb Deep and hooked us out in a significant way. And to see how his take on it, his spin is like, we don't fuck with those you like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? He's like anti-industry. You know what I'm saying? For real. And you know,
Maybe because he had that hooligans experience and things they do a certain way.
Right, he did have that. And I think the experiences that he had with dealing with the labels, it's like so much red tape and all of this BS that they, you know, they try to constrain you. And do it all, he kind of like figured it out, like through trial and error.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm a life student, so when I watch somebody like Al doing things like that, I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's definitely the right way.
Yeah, what happened at that time? Because we always thought at the time was very interesting that it just was seamless, right? Like, you obviously are a legendary producer, but this guy's incredible. But it fits so seamlessly to bring him into the groove, in a sense.
Yeah, it was seamless because, you know, we just met him kind of like on a whim, just, you know, hanging out with Muggs, you know what I mean? So, you know, that affiliation. And it was the way that he just came in, it was really seamless. It was like one day I was at his crib and one day he was producing tracks for Mobb Deep, and he kind of reminded me of myself, like the way he was making his tracks.
Yeah.
It just was like, it was Mobb Deep, the sound that he was producing. So
you embraced that. You could have been like, nah, I make all the beats.
Right, exactly.
But you embraced it.
Nah, I really did because I'm not a hater. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always want to bring people into the fold if it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one to try to take all the credit all the time. So when he came in, it was like a breath of fresh air because not only do I produce, I'm a writer. So sometimes you get tired of writing over your own tracks. So when he came in,
you want to spit on his tracks.
Like, I can relax now. You know what I'm saying? Because Prodigy killing me on his pen game.
You always say that, man.
You know? Nah, but Prodigy sharpens my pen game. You know what I'm saying? So when I got a chance to relax, thanks to Alchemist coming in doing some tracks, you know, my pen game was just getting a little crazy.
It's funny because one of the, you know, y'all have so many classics, but it seemed like in the later years, one that kind of really hit the radar is the realest record with Prodigy Rap. Something about that record, I don't know why, it's kind of had its own afterlife. Is that fair to say? Al did that beat, right?
No. Alchemist definitely did that beat, and it definitely took on an afterlife because I see it every time I perform. Like when I perform that record, that's like one of the crowd's favorites. Number one. And number two, if I'm out somewhere and they playing it, they like, yo, Hat, what was you thinking when you made that beat? And I'm like, nah, I didn't make that beat. Like, I wish I did, you know what I mean? But that speaks to how dope the track.
Spit on that beat, you know?
Absolutely. You know what I mean?
And what did it even mean to have G-Rap with y'all on that record? That must have been significant.
G-Rap is one of those artists that I used to listen to when I was hanging with the older cats going uptown, going to re-up. You know what I mean? And you know, the road, you know what I'm saying? Or the road to the riches, ironically, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
the soundtrack to the hustle.
I mean, G-Rap, he is the soundtrack of New York, the hustle, everything like that. So to have him on a record, finally, after all those years, me looking up to him, was just like full circle. Like, I even had to tell him, like, yo, release the video. He playing, yeah. And I know, and I know he's
You're not the first person to ever say it,
right. I'm sure somebody said that to him a million times before.
By Al, obviously, his dealings with the industry in the beginning and how it formed him. How did the whole Juvenile hell, like not getting the results that you want, your debut, like affect you and your view of music or what place in it?
Right. Well, I think with the Juvenile hell, I think it affected me in a good way. At the time, I didn't know it, but it affected me in a good way, in the sense that like we was young, that was our introduction into the industry. You know, it was lackluster as far as success, but that was our training. We got in, you know what I mean?
Building relationships.
Yeah, building relationships, you know. And then ultimately, with those relationships that we built, you know, it helped us get our next deal.
Yeah. And I remember first time Infamous, I would just play over and over, and I just couldn't believe how you guys had elevated the sound. Like this night and day from Juvenile hell to Infamous.
The contrast is crazy, right? Like, so you go from Juvenile hell to an album. It's like, all right, this is cool, it's all right.
I mean, we love to hit it from the back.
Right, you know what I mean?
It's a great record.
And we thought we was killing it. And, you know what I'm saying? But to go from there to I'll leave your brain, you know, stab your brain with your nose bone.
Yeah, all the shit Prodigy was saying.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, even, I mean, me, you know, Prodigy amazed me, you know what I mean? So we went into it like, just like, it's now or never.
Yeah.
Or we got to Loud.
And how do you think you kind of figured out your sound too, I guess, at that time?
Yeah, we figured it out because on the Juvenile hell album, I produced like maybe 3 tracks. You know, that was my first time ever producing, but I got a feel of how I wanted to sound, you know? And so once we got to Loud, Steve Rifkin just, you know, he just gave us the runway and just was like, yo, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to, you know, just do what you want to do. And he's like, all right, cool.
I wasn't really clear, because obviously Shook Ones is a part 2. Like, why was there even a need for a part 2? Like, did you feel like you knew that this was something you wanted to approach it again and had the right track for it? Like, how did it become this classic that we all know?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because me, Alchemist, and Scott Free was in the studio just recording, you know, the new Mobb Deep album. And that was one of the questions that Alchemist asked. Like, he was like, yo, what made y'all do a part 2? And the answer to that was easy, because the Shook Ones part 1, though it was kind of dope, and the lyrics and the direction was cool, the record was kind of slow, you know what I mean? And we was like, this is cool, it's all right, but let's like kind of like do a remix, keep the same structure with the lyrics and the chorus and stuff like that, but change up a couple of things. And, you know, Matty C, I never knew anything about crate digging. All my records were just on the floor in the house, scratched up.
Father was a DJ.
Yeah, because my father was a DJ. And went record shopping.
Oh, so you haven't really digging?
Nah, I never dug in my life.
Wow.
And Matty C brought me to those record conventions with, you know, Lost Professor.
Yeah, the hotel, right? Roosevelt?
That hotel, the Roosevelt Hotel.
Yeah. So paint that scene. Everybody would come like 8 in the morning or something. Like all the biggest producers in hip hop.
Like, I was starstruck. You know what I'm saying? just going there, seeing Pete Rock, seeing Lost Professor, and, you know, the Beat Miners, and all those cats. You know, I'm just in there timid, just like not knowing what to pick. But Matty C helped me out. Got me that drum break that I would later use for Shook Ones. It was just crazy.
Wow.
I was definitely hooked on digging.
So what do you remember? What are your memories of recording Infamous and putting that out together? And then how deep were you in it before Q-Tip got involved also?
Well, we Q-Tip came in really early on, right? So I did Shook Ones in my project apartment in Queensbridge. We really wasn't in the studio yet, but I made it, and we went to the studio, and he was like, "Yo, let's bring Q-Tip in to kind of like help us," because I didn't really know how to do the EQs or, you know, chop samples, and he kind of came in and just kind of like guided me through the whole process. with, it was priceless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't ask for much credit. He just came in, and sometimes he would give me samples, and he came in really early on.
Yeah. So he helps give you the confidence, I guess.
He did give me the confidence, and he used to let me hang out with him at his crib. You know what I'm saying? At his mom's. We'd be in Jamaica, just really kicking it on some like real shit. Like, he was like a big brother, but he could have just took the check, but that's not.
Yeah, you gotta believe in it. Yeah,
right. That's not
even
him.
to this day.
Yeah.
Look what him and LL are doing. Speaking of which, right? Like it's
true indeed.
You gotta believe in it.
That's crazy, and he believes in it. And not only that, he be throwing me alley-oops sometimes. You know what I mean? Like when I produced for Kanye, that was a Q-tip alley-oop. You know what I'm saying? Like Kanye must have been talking to him about something. He's like, why don't you have half of it? You know what I mean? And that was like crazy alley.
So how deep were you in Infamous when you started to realize that your partner, your brother, was ill on that mic and was just saying some outlandish, like, street shit that was just piercing through?
Yo, what's so crazy is because when he started doing the Infamous album, I didn't really realize how dope he was rapping because I was trying to write my heart out.
Yeah.
So, and obviously he was writing his heart out. So I didn't really notice until after the album came out and everybody was just looking at him like God. You know what I mean? Because they have the saying like a prophet is recognized everywhere but home. So he was so close to me that I didn't really realize it until the album went gold, and everybody was just came, and he had all those quotables.
Yeah.
The album.
Source magazine. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you knew from jump that you also wanted to be active with the pen, like you not only want to be just a producer, but you had a passion as a rapper that was equal at the time.
It was equal because I come from an art background, right? I went to the high school of art design, all of those things. So I was a rapper first, by default, because I didn't have equipment to make beats with, but I knew if I had equipment, I would make beats. You know what I mean? Just because I just want to create, write rhymes, make beats. So I started off as a rapper first, and soon as Prodigy's grandmother brought in that equipment, it was like I kind of pushed Pete to the side. It was like, yo, son, let me get this. and he was producing. He showed me how to work the equipment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
once you got the equipment, then it kind of started to come together.
Yeah, once I got the equipment, it was just like, it was that void that was missing. Like I knew I wanted to produce from there on out, and I'm happy that he even trusted me producing out because he knew that I wasn't a producer at the time. Like I just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And Loud and everybody trusted me, especially Prodigy.
Yeah. So when did you realize Infamous was successful, and like what were the first things that started to happen that you felt like, okay, we finally won? Like the first one obviously wasn't a win for us, but this is a win.
I would say like after Shook Ones came out and we was able to tour the single and seeing all the responses that we was getting, especially on the East Coast, that's when I knew it was really getting successful. And not to mention, not too long after the release of the album, it went gold. Like it was like certified gold. And,
so it did it quickly.
I would say like it got like 2-3 months.
Yeah, so that was super quick back then.
For back then,
and that was the goal to go gold, right? For an East Coast rapper, you wanted to go gold. That was success. Like,
I mean, that going gold was everything. Because me coming up, I remember EPMD 30 days later. People go, you know what I'm saying? And to be amongst that class, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh shit, we're EPMD now. You know what I mean? For real, it was everything.
And then, so there's a debate, like, what's better, like Infamous or Hell on Earth?
Yeah.
I love Hell on Earth, but what I love about it, and you think you had talked about it before, it's like, you have all the success, but then personally wise, you guys go through a dark time. Yeah. It kind of bleeds into the music. Right?
Yeah, we really did go through a dark time with Hell on Earth. And I get asked that question all the time, which album
favorite? It's a Low End Theory, Midnight Marauders debate. It's like a lot of these great.
For me, it's always going to be the Infamous, right? Because the Infamous is what, led to any other things, right? Or we wouldn't even be it. But most of the fans, I would say supporters that I interact with, they always say Hell on Earth is their favorite over the Infamous album because it's dark. And yes, as you mentioned, it's dark because at that time we had like two friends that died in a car accident. Yeah. You know, later on, my brother will, you know, commit suicide. Yeah. And so everything was really, I don't even know how we completed that album with all that trauma that we had. You know what I mean?
So you wasn't even thinking musically, just the pressure of following this up. You also just had all this personal stuff hanging over y'all.
It was a lot of personal stuff that was looming around, and you know, art. It had to come out in art, right? We couldn't fold to it. It's life happens, and let's just tell it inside of our album. You know, and hence maybe the reason why the album sounded so raw.
You know, it's funny. It's like this case, like I love the Infamous so much. I'm like, well, how they gonna top this song, equal this and all that? And then you literally say the first line of Joy. You're like, you know how we did it on the Infamous album? We're gonna do it again.
That was mad presumptuous, you know what I'm saying? But that was the mind state. Like, it was like, yo, because in my mind, I'm like, how the fuck we gonna top this?
You also have, you was attacking every record first. You had the first verse of all these records. Like, why was you so? And your voice sounded a little different and deeper, like just like aggressive, like you just like I'm ready to go.
Right. Because you know, listen, at this point, you got Prodigy, he's killing it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, I gotta step my pen game up. So
Yeah.
I used to just, when we was in the studio writing, I already made the beat. I already got the flow in my head. So I'm like, I'm looking at P writing. I'm like, I finished. I got my verse done. You know? So it's all a matter of who was.
Did you want to rhyme first, or was it just always the natural? Because I think really like the first 6 songs you rhyme first, I believe.
Right.
You get to like Man Down or something, I think.
Yeah. It's all about who finishes their verse first. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And who's gonna end up doing first, or sometimes you know. We'll just sit back and if it makes more sense for Prodigy to go first, he'll go first. But most of the time, it's just natural. Yeah.
I saw on your IG you showed the origin of the vultures noise, blah blah. And what people may not know, I remember being in the industry, when we got the early version of the album, you put the vulture noises throughout the whole album.
We did,
which was amazing.
We did,
because you didn't want the bootleggers to get you and like.
and you know. That was Prodigy's great idea, like, you know what I'm saying? It was like sort of a watermark.
Yeah.
With the vultures, because we used to call each other vultures, you know what I mean? Yeah. Stuff like that. So that was Prodigy's idea. He'll put it on there so we don't get bootlegged. And because, you know, bootlegging was crazy back then.
Yeah.
You know, and that was happening from the label, like, you know, somebody would get their hands on it.
So that never leaked out, the vultures version?
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
But not as bad as it could have been.
As it could have been, because, you know, later on, we'll have an album that would leak that made us go back to the drawing board.
And I forgot, I saw, I think it was your Vlad interview, that the timing of when you did drop a gem on him, how close it was to passing, and how you basically couldn't work that record, like in a traditional sense.
Right. I mean, it would have been like disrespectful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At that point, and the record was bubbling under.
Yeah.
You know, drop a gem on him. Tupac.
It was your big single.
Yeah, Tupac dissed us, so it was out. You know what I'm saying? We was like, yeah, we're ready. So we got something for you, and we put it out. And I swear it couldn't have been no more than 7 days. Or he got shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was serious this time, but in my mind, I was like, nah, he gonna pull out of that. You know, I'm sure everybody.
We all did it first. Yeah.
But we had to drop it.
So when did you know Hell on Earth was like that same, equal or almost as great as Infamous in terms of the reaction you guys were getting?
I was kind of shook. You know what I'm saying? I was scared because I was like, damn, you know, the Infamous album, we got Shook Ones and all of that. I was like, can we, you know, do it with this album, Hell on Earth? And as soon as we put out on Hell on Earth, it was like kind of like instant classic. Like people was like really feeling it. Like it didn't sound like a club record to me or anything like that. Not that we was making those records for the club, but it just was kind of regular to me. But the response was crazy. It was almost equal to the Infamous album because I believe people was just anticipating it.
Yeah.
So
and then gold again, gold out,
and another gold. Now I'm on cloud 9, like me and Prodigy.
They have leave the projects.
Because I was supposed to stay in the project forever, but I had to renege on it.
Why was that line so hard? Something about that line was so hard. I was staying in the projects forever.
I mean, because that's how you feel as a shorty. Like you
I
really
grew up one day in Woodside projects. You know,
Perfect example. You know when you watching Paid It Full, And then K-Ron's like, yo, I'm never gonna leave here. This
I get love here.
No, it wasn't K-Ron. It was, it was.
I get love here.
Yeah, he was like, that's the
they love me here.
That's how I felt in the project. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine going anywhere else. I have to share my success with my peoples.
But then the bootleggers did get you.
They did.
On this next album, Murder Music.
They did. they totally got us on this next album.
In a bad way.
Yeah, and that was sad because the album was about to come out.
Yeah.
It got bootleg. Don't ask me how it got bootleg, but we had to go back to the drawing board.
So you literally had to add more records.
We had to. We had to almost like do the whole album over. Yeah. Like we really had to literally do the whole.
What, like Drill Me, like records like that was supposed to be on, or like?
Drill Me was supposed to be on there. A couple of other records. I forget exactly which ones, but it was like the meat of the album was out there, and it was like, damn, you know what I mean? So, but it turned out in our favor because
it's a platinum album. Like so how did you turn that big setback into the biggest win?
We just took it as like, okay, people really want our music that bad that they'll bootleg it. So we just turned a minus into a plus. We did it over. We thought about creative things that we could do because, we just got a bunch of, male fans. Sorry. So it's the money calling, man.
But keep it in it.
Straight up. Word up. But, we turned the negative into a positive, and it went platinum, which was kind of like beyond my scope of.
How much do we have to thank Lil' Kim and her magic?
I think we have to thank her a lot. You know what I mean? Because at that point, it was just all male fans. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. But, but we not like, your LLs or, you know what I'm saying? The people with all the girls going like this. It's just like you in the club, somebody about to fight. We like, let's, you know what I'm saying? Let's try to get the women involved. And Lil' Kim, she really kind of drove it home.
Yeah. Amazing verse.
Nah. I mean, she killed it. I was sitting there while she was writing it. I was like, oh, shit. I seen her going in like this. I was like, hot damn hole, here we go again. It's like, damn.
Well, speaking of ladies, I remember when they got at y'all, man, when you did the Hey Love, man. You had the ladies in the videos. Yeah. You getting your kissing on it. Cats weren't ready for the mob. They was mature mob.
I know. And you know what? We used to get a lot of flack from our supporters for that. But I always say this, and this is true, this is fact. That was our biggest radio record.
So it did work. It was
not a record. Yeah. That shit, it worked like crazy. It was our biggest radio record. But, the male supporters, they not gonna. It felt
caused a little tension.
Yeah, it felt funny performing it, right? Like, so dudes in the crowd, like, dudes in the crowd are like, I'm making sure I find a girl to look at, like, you know what I mean? So. But I love the record. What 12 did they think on that?
And then I feel like that album, that was the height of the Prodigy. Jay-Z does some stuff. I feel like every verse Prodigy was kind of dissing Jay-Z or just mad shit, like just airing things out.
Right, yeah. P was taking his little stabs here and there. Yeah. I'm just there's like.
You said you didn't love it, right? Because it was just like a New York thing, and it was
when Prodigy started going at that angle. Yeah, because I was born, like, first of all, number one, I had to support him and still do, you know what I mean, because he's part of my group. But, if I had it my way, I would have been like, yo, been saying this, you should actually, team up with him because he was a Prodigy, not say fan, but supporter, right? He really respected Prodigy. So I think, if I could change history, I would make them be friends, right? Yeah. Because imagine that, right? Prodigy and Jay-Z on the same record at that time. Yeah. Prodigy pen game is like nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Missed opportunity, but everything happens for a reason. Yeah. I to this day, I fully supported whichever direction Prodigy had to go.
And they gave you some more shit when you joined G-Unit.
It definitely gave us something to talk about. It gave us something to talk about because 50 he don't shy away from anything, you know what I'm saying, and I always loved that about 50.
So you enjoyed that experience?
I did, you know what I'm saying, because I got to sit back and just see how you handle beef, you know what I'm saying. It's like, and when we got with 50, it's like he from Queens, you know what I'm saying. So it wasn't like I feel like I was just dealing with a cousin or somebody like that.
Yeah.
We just happened to be on his label.
Yeah. It's crazy. But we're getting a new Mobb album.
Yes.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it too. It's been a long time coming. A few bumps in the road because when somebody passes away, you have to give the estate time to mourn. You can't just rush into something because you want to.
Yeah.
And then, once we got everything correct, smooth, kind of smooth, and then it was only right that it was like, okay, let's go now. But I always have been working on Prodigy records
But you got lyrics, you got stuff that hasn't come out.
Yeah, I had a few lyrics and things like that. So I always had something waiting in the wings. And then, just recently, I hit Al, like, yo, Al, or something, like, you know what I'm saying? I can't do it without you. Listen, you know how we do. You already know. He was like, what's up? Come to LA. Went to LA and we knocked out like 13 records.
So it's not a song, it's a whole body of work.
It's a whole body of work and then some, like, right? We probably gonna do like 25 records.
Wow.
Pick the best 10, 2 bonuses, you know what I mean? And
all original music on your end besides verses we haven't heard from P?
Right, verses you never heard from Prodigy, original tracks, you know what I mean? And I wish I could let you hear it all night. It's crazy.
So it's not done yet, but it's shaping up to be.
I would say it's about 70% done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We still got to get a few features on there, you know what I mean? And try to do something that the supporters won't expect.
Yeah.
But not too outside the box.
I heard that maybe P's daughter might be on the record.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We definitely, because she's a beast. You know what I mean?
What's her name? I'm sorry.
Santana Fox.
Santana Fox. That's right. That is correct.
Yo, I was in the studio with her at Al's studio, and the beats she got, it got me kind of rethinking how I'm producing. I'm like, yo, and of course, because this is Prodigy's daughter, she's talented. She's really talented.
So, what was it like hooking back up with Al?
Oh man, it's like old times, you know what I'm saying? Like, I obviously, he's busy and I'm doing what I'm doing, but to just get back in the studio, to see him in his element, and he get to see me in my element, it's like the conversation never stopped. You know what I mean? Like, we just like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. Like, you know what I mean? And it was just normal.
Yeah. Was it still hard to process that P's no longer with us?
It is kind of hard to process. I mean, I've processed it, but I was telling everybody that was in the studio when we was recording, when his verse plays,
it's gotta be tough sometimes.
All BS aside, I feel like he's there. Like the energy, his energy is in the room, and that's the most moments when I feel like I can't believe he's not there. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like he's gonna come around the corner and walk into the room like somebody's playing a joke on me, and I say that with all sincerity. Like I feel like he's gonna walk around the corner.
No, you said that maybe 2 or 3 years after he passed. We're on the 7th year, and you still have that feeling.
I feel like he's fucking with me. You know what I mean? I swear to God, like he gonna be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I had to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm here. Okay, like, you know what I mean? I really do feel like that.
So how do you view the Mobb Deep legacy, and like, how does this record, does it put a cap on it in your mind, or does it just further enhances how you view it, what Mobb Deep means to hip hop?
I mean, me personally, it's always going to be a cap on it because Prodigy's not here. But number 2, with this album, I think it will kind of enhance the legacy, so it didn't leave off on a sorry note, but it could end it off on a happy note.
Yeah.
Like, people still got to get something. Even though,
like Tribe did with the album with Fife, kind of.
Right, exactly like that. Like, we don't want to leave it at that. Like, okay, that was it.
Yeah.
Boom. Let's give them something else. So when it's all said and done, they have something that they could be like, okay, this was the last album, and you can hear the effort inside of the album.
Yeah. Does it motivate you? That I was telling people, like, we used to think artists couldn't grow into the 40s, 50s, and still contribute to the culture and make good music. Like, right. You seem like you haven't lost your passion.
Not at all. And what inspires me as well is, like, think of Quincy Jones, right? Like, he didn't do Thriller until he was about in his 50s, 45, 50. Yeah. And this is the new 50. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like, back in the days, it's like I'm a producer.
Still got your black Timbs on, baby.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? They a little scuffed up. You feel me? I ain't coming here cute, baby.
Summertime New York.
Word up, summertime in New York, man. And, like, yo, I'm gonna be producing until the wheels fall off.
Yes,
you know what I mean? So it's all good. I mean, music gives me life.
Big half.
Yo,
Love you, brother.
Thank you, man. Love.
Love.
For real.
Appreciate you.